200 dead in one city, Benghazi, possibly high numbers elsewhere.
In only 3 days.
Over 3 days. And significantly, I think, tonight, a curfew in Tripoli, because Tripoli is the key, which we identified on Al Jazeera last night. Where is this going now?
It's not going to end. There's no ending to this one. People know that, and people keep saying that, because once they've started, they've been waiting for 42 years. It's just been a long time coming. It's 42 years of oppression, no justice, corruption in the system, unemployment rate is so high. For such a big, massive country with so much resources and tiny population, to be living in that manner is unbelievable. It's unspeakable. The oppression that we had as Libyans, I've left the country in '99 because of what was happening in the country, and people had enough. They just want to say, please, just leave. And they've done it peacefully. They had no weapons, nothing to protest with, just their bodies. They're given their bodies for this country, and that's what it means to them, and it means to everybody, even in people here in Libya, I mean in the UK, who are Libyans. It just means so much to them, and we really need. I'm just wondering when Obama and Cameron going to speak. How long are they waiting for? Are they waiting for the death toll to reach 1,000? Then they're going to speak. It's shocking. I can't believe how the West has taken this. Obviously, we know that the media is not inside, but there's a way to go inside. I mean, people are reporting. You see the YouTube channels, you see the Facebook and Twitter, how it's working, and it does make magic, and it is making a difference. And people are actually now trying to get the Western media inside from the Egyptian borders, and people are doing their best to get that happen. And it's a very difficult situation at the moment we're in. When I speak to my friends and relatives, they just say, do whatever you can from your side, and we are doing what we can. But the hopes are really high. People actually, when I call them, they take it so easy. It's like as if nothing was happening. Don't worry about us, we are fine. We've given ourselves for this country, and we're going to do it. We're going to finish it, and soon you'll be back. And that's how the hopes are really high. We have a famous quote that says, we'll not surrender, we'll win or we'll die.
All right. Ahmed, we'll leave it there. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
EU foreign ministers are meeting in Brussels to discuss the latest developments in Egypt and, of course, Libya. The working dinner is chaired by the EU's Foreign Policy Chief, Catherine Ashton, who will fly to Egypt for talks. Next week, she'll be the first foreign diplomat to visit the country since the fall of Hosni Mubarak. Speaking earlier, she expressed her concern of the growing violence in Libya.
I'm really worried about what's happening in Libya at the present time. We've been urging restraint. We continue to do so. It's very important. You'll have heard it, I think, from all the foreign ministers coming in that you've asked tonight. It's very, very important that this violence stops and they move to dialogue.
The Egyptian government blocked our signal during the uprising, and now the Libyan government appears to be doing the same. Both Al Jazeera English and Arabic have been blocked on the Arabsat network across the Middle East and North Africa. But you can still watch us on Nilesat network at this frequency. And also on the Hotbird network, you can use these settings. Al Jazeera Arabic broadcasts on these signals on Nilesat. And on Hotbird, leave this up for a second, because this is what you need to see. Just to take a look at this. And of course, all that will be on our ticker as you watch us through the night, as we update the latest from Libya and, of course, Bahrain. Well, Libya is just one country caught up in this wave of unrest sweeping right across the Maghreb. As you can see, the protests that started in Tunisia and Algeria before moving to Egypt have now engulfed many countries right across the region. Earlier, 2,000 people gathered in Morocco's capital, Rabat, demanding that King Mohammed give up some of his powers. They also want him to clamp down on government corruption. Well, in Djibouti, protesters have clashed with police this weekend as they called on their president to step down. Unemployment in the Horn of Africa state stands at about 60%. In Iran, the daughter of former President Rafsanjani was arrested and later released for attending one of several banned opposition rallies. And in Yemen, pro and anti-government groups have thrown stones at each other on the 9th day of protests, urging President Saleh to quit. He, meanwhile, has appeared before thousands of cheering supporters in the capital. Hashim Al-Habara has more from Sana'a.
President Saleh had two messages to the pro-democracy protesters. One, he's ready to talk to them. Two, there's no way he can allow them to bring about change by taking to the streets. Let's listen to what he had to say.
If the demands of the protesters are legitimate, we are ready to listen to their demands. We have to assume our responsibilities and courageously seek dialogue. It is the best way. Not destruction or blocking the roads or killing people or targeting public and private properties.
Here in the capital, Sana'a, thousands of students decided to start a sitting outside the campus of the university to enforce change. In the city of Taiz, which has become the epicenter of the pro-democracy movement, thousands are converging on the main streets to build up more momentum for their demands for President Saleh to go. In the city of Aden, a senior member of the secessionist movement has been arrested. Pro-independence calls are considered a red line here in the capital, Sana'a. The government has been saying over the last few days that calls for independence in the south won't be tolerated.
Well, protesters in Bahrain are digging their heels in. They've set up camp now in the capital of Manama. Hundreds of people spent the night in Pearl Square on the roundabout after the government ordered the military to pull out of the area. They set up tents and held peaceful protests. Several demonstrators were killed during the protests on Thursday. Opposition supporters say their demands must be met before there can be any dialogue with the royal family. James Bays is there. He told us the protesters are not interested in dialogue with the government. They want more.
We want the government removed and we want the king out of here. That's the sort of feelings that we're getting here, the strength of opinion you're getting among the ordinary people. Now, the opposition politicians are saying that what they want first is some sort of commitment from the government, from the ruling family, that they're serious about making concessions, that they're serious about talking about constitutional reform. They say they haven't had that yet, and that's why, although there's this offer of dialogue, no one's actually sat down to talk about anything yet.
Tunisia's government says it's officially asked Saudi Arabia to extradite deposed President Ben Ali, who it's accused of serious crimes. Tunisian television released pictures of treasures that were hidden around Ben Ali's palace. Hundreds of thousands of euros worth of money and diamonds were piled up in secret hiding places, including vaults behind a huge bookcase. The nation was angry and angered by reports that Ben Ali's wife fled the country with gold bars. Earlier, tens of thousands of people again demonstrated in Tunis, calling for the resignation of Mohamed Ghannouchi's transitional government. Museums and other tourist attractions in Egypt have started to reopen 9 days after the downfall of President Hosni Mubarak. Hundreds of tourists flocked to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Some say they're still nervous about the political